The Bing Crosby Show for General Electric. Welcoming you to the Bing Crosby Show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood, with John Scott Trotter and his orchestra and Bing's guest, Mr. Frank Sinatra. All brought to you by General Electric, neighbors of yours who believe there is no limit to progress when people work together. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Bing.
About the Jones boy, the Jones boy, the Jones boy. The whole town's talking about the Jones boy. He acts mighty peculiar now. The whole town's saying he was a good boy, a nice boy, a swell boy. The whole town thinks that he's not a well boy. He just isn't the same somehow. He hops, he jumps so merrily over the water pumps. He stops and then he'll come to a pump and he'll jump again. They're buzzing over the fences. The kid's gone out of his senses. The whole town's talking about the Jones boy, that poor boy, the Jones boy. But I just happen to know the Jones boy, and he happens to be in love. Yes, he happens to be in love.
Yes, sir, Bing. Real good.
Oh, you were listening, eh, Ken?
Oh, certainly. This is one of my favorite programs.
Well, aren't you nice to say so?
I never miss it, Bing. By the way, that little love song is very appropriate, especially today.
Why is this? Is somebody by the name of Jones listening to the program, too?
Oh, jillions of Joneses are listening, I hope.
Unless we slight another big block, there's undoubtedly scads of Smiths on the Erie tonight, like the Ralph Smiths up in Lemoyle.
Oh, yes. Well, we're very big with all the Smiths, the Johnsons, Olsons, everybody.
Yeah.
But Bing, when I said the Jones boy was very appropriate, I didn't mean because a lot of Joneses were listening.
Well, then what did you mean?
Bing, don't tell me you don't know.
No, I'm...
This is March 21st, the first day of spring.
Well, I'll be diddly-dad burned. You know, Ken, I felt rather giddy and keyed up all afternoon, but I just attribute it to the fact that the waitress dropped an extra egg in my malted at lunchtime.
Don't blame it on the egg.
You don't
it's
think so?
Spring.
Oh, yes.
You know what Tennyson said? Spring is the boyhood of the year.
Yes, Ken, and Alfred Lord also said, in the spring, a young man's fancy lightly turns to thoughts of love.
Mm-hmm. Say, that applies to older men, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, so far.
So far as what?
So far as I know.
Bing, it must apply to older men.
Keep talking, Ken. I love everything.
Well, Bing, I'm sure Tennyson's famous observation can be expanded.
Oh, yes, but can we? I thought of that.
Incidentally, I believe that's about the best-known quote on spring and love, isn't it?
Yes, I think in the spring a young man's fancy lightly turns to thoughts of love is certainly well known. Of course, there's another much better-known quotation from Tennyson's works.
What quotation is that?
I don't want no ricochet romance.
Bing, you mean to tell me that Tennyson wrote, I don't want no...
Well, I guess it was poetic license, Ken.
Look, if I were you, Bing, I'd lay off those eggs in your malted milk.
I didn't even want the one I had, and this waitress laid the extra one in there. Well, I just had to take it because I didn't want her to think I was a sissy.
Oh, I see.
And now, Ken, in an effort to extend the romantic atmosphere that we stirred up here, I think we should do a song. The lyrical locale of this one is Spain. And if that's not a romantic spot, I certainly don't know one. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Granada. And if you could speak, what a fascinating tale you would tell of an age the world has long forgotten, of an age that weaves a silent magic in Granada today. The dawn in the sky greets the day with a sigh for Granada, for she can remember the splendor that once was Granada. It still can be found in the hills all around as I wander along, entranced by the beauty before me, entranced by a land full of sunshine and flowers and song. And when day is done and the sun starts to set in Granada, I envy the blush of the snow-clad Sierra Nevada. For soon it will welcome the stars while 1,000 guitars play a soft habanera. Then moonlight Granada will live again, the glory of yesterday, romantic and gay.
Thank you very much. Folks, as you know, next week the Academy Awards will be announced here in Hollywood. I guess about the biggest stir has been created by the Columbia picture From Here to Eternity. This picture has been nominated for Best Film Editing, Best Musical Score, Dramatic Picture, Best Achievement by a Sound Department, Best Picture, 2 nominations for Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Back, not finished yet. To Continue From Here to Eternity has also been nominated for Best Direction, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Black and White Picture.
This introduction is running from here to eternity, too.
And Best Costume Design. Naturally, we tried to snag many of the talented men and women who are up for these awards, but the best we could come up with is Mr. Frank Sinatra.
That's bad? No, that's good.
Well, Frank, it's a pleasure to have you. A potential Oscar winner is our guest this evening. Isn't this grand?
You know, folks, every time I'm up for an Academy Award, I'm a guest on Crosby's program.
Hey, what are you talking about? This is the first time you were ever up.
It's the first time I was ever on, too.
Every other year, Frank. Tell me something. Frankie, if you grab this Oscar now, you're going to put it right on the mantel, right up there big in your living room?
No, Bing, I don't think it'll be right.
Why not?
I mean, if I put the Oscar on the mantel, well, everyone who comes to my house would have to look at it. So I decided to be real modest about the whole thing.
Well, where are you going to put the Oscar, then, if you win it?
Out in the garage?
Oh, Frank, that's being too modest, don't you think?
Well, Bing, to be more specific, I'm going to put it out in the garage on the radiator of my car.
That sounds like a real flashy ornament.
It beats a foxtail, and it's harder to get.
Well, you said it, and I should know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You won an Academy Award, too.
2?
Sorry, I got carried away.
That's only natural. Anyhow, Frank, what are you going to sing for us tonight?
I'd like to do Young at Heart, if it's all right with you, Bing.
Well, it's okay with me, of course. You've got a big record out on Young at Heart, haven't you?
Well, it's going pretty good, I'm happy to say. Say, you got a record out on Young at Heart, too, haven't you, Bing?
Yeah, and You All Come is really moving.
Yeah, I like You All Come. It's a little rural for a dramatic actor like me to sing, but it's a good tune to listen to.
Oh, thank you. Now, Frank, if you'll turn your attention to Mr. Trotter, I'm sure that he'll conduct very dramatically for you.
He's a good man.
He's a big man, too.
It can happen to you if you're young at heart. For it's hard, you will find, to be narrow of mind if you're young at heart.
can go to extremes with impossible schemes. You can laugh when your dreams fall apart at the seams. And life gets more exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or on the way. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? For as rich as you are, it's much better by far to be young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, think of all you'll derive out of being alive. And here is the best part: you had a head start if you are among the very young at heart. Gets more exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or it's on its way. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? For as rich as you are, it's much better by far to be young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, think of all you'll derive out of being alive. And here is the best part: you've had a head start if you are among the very young at heart.
Smooth, Frank. Smooth and sentimental. Smooth as a champagne velvet.
Them's mighty kind words.
Frank, while the folks are still in this nice mood that you've created, what do you say we continue with some philosophical type songs? You know, songs that date back a few years.
Yeah, good idea. Anything to take my mind off me till this Academy jazz is over.
Oh, yes. Friends, Mr. Sinatra and I would like to do a medley of Among My Souvenirs, September Song, and As Time Goes By. Mr. Trotter, would you, please?
Nothing left for me of days that used to be. I live in memory among my souvenirs. Some letters tied with blue, a photograph or two. I see a rose from you among my souvenirs. A few more tokens rest within my treasure chest. And though they do their best
but the days grow short when you reach September, when the autumn weather turns the leaves to flame. One hasn't got time for the waiting game. All the days dwindle down to a precious few. September, November, and these few precious days I'll spend with you. These precious days I'll spend with you. You must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. A sigh's just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. And when two lovers woo, they still say I love you. On that you can rely. No matter what the future brings as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. And woman needs man, and man must have his mate. That no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by.
Oh, that was great fun, Frankie. Real nice.
I enjoy singing those songs, Bing.
Me too. I tell you what, Frank. If you're not doing anything next week, why don't you come back here? We'll sing some more ditties of a sentimental nature.
I might do just that.
Please do. Come on back next week and bring your Oscar, huh? Show off a little.
Supposing I don't win one.
Oh, come on back anyhow. Have a good cry.
What'd I win for that? Anyway, Bing, I'll be back next week, hot or cold.
Frank, the welcome mat is always off.
Thank you, sir.
Not at all. Now, Frank, if you'll excuse me, I have a little matter here that I must take up with Ken Carpenter.
We'll step right in here.
I've got it. Ken, I have here the annual report on the electrical business as it relates to General Electric. GE's report to its shareholders covering the year 1953.
Oh, checking up on our sponsor, huh? Oh, you're a sly one,
No,
Bing.
actually, I'm not as artful as you credit me, Ken. This report goes to all share owners, all 246,000 of them. But you might feel better knowing that it's an encouraging report. We may very well continue to get paid.
Oh, happy word.
Isn't that peachy?
Wonderful. Now I can keep up the payments on my fireproof smoking
Oh,
jacket.
yes, your asbestos carpet.
Yeah.
Look right here on the cover of the report. Look here, Ken.
Yeah.
It says the GE sales top $3 billion.
$3 billion.
Everything's going great, Ken. Fact is, GE's 1953 sales set a new record. Almost $500 million better than the previous year's sales. General Electric sales are up, its earnings are up, and its dividends are up. Jobs and payrolls are up also.
Oh, the whole company's on the up and up.
Why, we ought to be broadcasting from the balloon, boy.
I never could stand heights. That's the only trouble. Well, you know, being this good news is all very fine for you. You're a share owner, but where does it get the rest of us?
Well, I think the reason for this success is important to all of us, Ken. You see, a lot of GE's increased business since the war has been due to its heavy investment in scientific research and development. The laboratories have found ways to improve established products and launch new ones. That's Olivier says laboratories, as in Alec Guinness. And even start brand new businesses.
Well, that's true, Bing. There's the new jet engine plant for aircraft, the growing electronics and appliance field, silicones, turbine generators, switchgear.
Well, that's why GE's advances are important to all of us, because those advances are expanding our whole economy. They're making more jobs, providing better products at lower cost, and often new products for us to choose from. In the final analysis, Ken, everybody benefits, you see.
Well, of course, all this costs a whale of a lot of money.
Oh, scads of loot. Since the war, GE has spent more than $800 million to improve its research and manufacturing facilities alone.
That's not the end, Bing. As I understand it, GE expects the demand for electricity to double in the next 10 years.
That's what I hear, Ken. That's why General Electric is continuing to invest heavily in research and development to find better ways of supplying power in new plants and new equipment to increase production. And GE is exploring human relations, too, looking for more advanced ways of dealing with people and with customers and employees and management.
Well, that latter is a relatively unexplored field, Bing. And
it's a new caper,
yes,
yeah.
it is. It's sometimes a mighty ticklish proposition.
Oh, yes. Well, I know, Ken. I'm reminded of the time in my youth when I happily offered my services as a self-appointed manager of a football team.
And your offer was rebuffed?
Not exactly rebuffed, but the team captain just punched me in the eye. You see this limpid left eye here with the slight twitch?
Looks all right now.
That's
It was a terrible thing that happened, though.
Oh, yes. This boy obviously needed handling. I tried to reason with him like a regular Dutch uncle.
Yeah, that's good.
I flattered, I cajoled him. And finally, I got my big brother Everett to beat the daylights out of him. Great. Worked like a charm.
But has Everett worked since?
That's a whole new subject. Where were we?
We were discussing General Electric.
Oh, great outfit, Ken. Top drawer.
Oh, yes, I know.
Everybody ought to get one of these reports, Ken.
But everybody isn't a GE share owner, Bing.
Well, you don't have to be. You passed penmanship in school, didn't you, Ken?
The Palmer method, you mean? Well, my circles were never very good. Only under my eyes.
Well, caused by late study, I suppose.
Yeah.
But buck up, Ken. Try it again. Take pen in hand and write to General Electric, Schenectady, New York.
Schenectady? Now, there's a word that'll take some spelling.
Oh, yeah. It's well worth spelling, though, because I think this annual report is well worth reading for everybody. It gives you some idea of the tremendous future of our nation and the plans one company is making to meet this future.
Spurred on by one thought. There's no limit to progress when people work together.
With special emphasis on that last word, Ken, together. Now, here's a little song that Perry Como has made a hit record on. A song called simply Wanted. I figured I might as well ride along on the coattails of the popularity this record is almost certain to achieve and have a shot at it here.
Wanted someone who kissed me and held me closely, then stole my heart. Wanted someone I trusted, who gave no warning we'd ever part. She was last seen hiding out in someone's arms. He knew nothing of the danger in her charms. A jury may find her guilty, but I'd forgive her if I could see a signed confession that she's repented and really wanted no one but me. She was last seen hiding out in someone's arms. He knew nothing of the danger in her charms. A jury may find her guilty, but I'd forgive her if I could see a signed confession that she's repented and really wanted no one but me.
Well, that's going to get it for tonight, folks. We hope to see you again next week, same time, same place, when our guest will again be Mr. Frank Sinatra. Until then, good night, and thank you very much.
This program was produced and transcribed in Hollywood by Bill Morrow and Murdo McKenzie. Tune in next week and hear Bing and his guest, Mr. Frank Sinatra. The Bing Crosby Show is brought to you each week for the people of General Electric, who believe there is no limit to progress when people work together. And at General Electric, progress is our most important product.
This is the CBS Radio Network.